Appreciate everyone showing up today. Got some new reporters in the back from App State students, so thank you guys for coming. But we're excited for game week to be here. It seems like it's been a long time in the making, but we're very excited. We have a locker room full of hungry players that are excited to go out and prove themselves and really to go get someone other than themselves. It's been a physical spring practice, great summer workouts, and then through fall camp. So I know our kids are excited to get started this week on ETSU. And we have a lot of respect for East Tennessee State and their new head coach, Trey Lamb, who we faced last year against Gardner-Webb. And our sole focus is on ETSU right now, preparing for Saturday. We can't wait to get in front of our fans at the Rock this Saturday at 3:30 in front of a sold-out stadium. So, again, a lot of great things happen this week. It's football season, and, again, we're excited to be here.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Shawn, could you give us maybe an update on how things progressed over the summer with OTAs, going through preseason camp, and in particular, you had a new group of players that entered the program through the May transfer portal?
I think first and foremost, we were able to retain both coordinators with Coach Sloan and Coach Ponce, and that goes a long ways. Our kids weren't learning a different scheme. We were trying to improve on what we had built last year throughout the last part of last season. So again, we can be with our players 2 hours a week in the off season, and we did take a full advantage of that through OTAs and film study. And again, there wasn't a big drop off from day one of fall camp. If you look at it, we have a 6-day install that our kids went from January to day 1 through 6. Then you go spring ball day 1 through 6, and you start off summer workouts 1 through 6. And our first practice was day 1. So a lot of review, a lot of really honing in, getting better at what we do. And I think our kids really take a great approach to things, and they're excited to see what all the work they put in this past summer to see what it looks like on Saturday.
You guys faced a Trey Lamb team last season when you played Gardner-Webb, and he took a number of those players with him to East Tennessee State. In particular, you're going to see a different quarterback than you faced last year in Jalen King, who was on his roster but did not play in the game here. As you guys have gone through and scouted him up, what would you say defines his game?
Well, if you look at by the numbers on their website, it was 24 players that followed Trey from Gardner-Webb to ETSU, 14 on offense, 10 on defense. So, and we have been able to evaluate some of those players. I think 33 total is what they have on their roster, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really going mix and matching things to watch a personnel. I think his scheme will be his scheme, both offensively, defensively, and special teams. But their quarterback, he's very elusive, and we have to do a great job keeping the pocket. He can really hurt you when he gets outside the pocket and becomes a dual threat quarterback. So, again, very strong arm. He can throw the ball from sideline to hash, and he's a great decision maker. And we have to do our job keeping the pocket, try to make him one-dimensional, which will be very hard this Saturday.
It seemed like you guys had a really good summer in terms of health-wise. Everybody seemed to come out of it without anything significant. As you enter into game week 1, are there any injuries that will carry over that could affect the depth chart this week?
No, we've been very lucky, very fortunate through fall camp that we've had some, just your occasional bangs and bruises here and there. But again, no one's out for a significant time. And we, as of today at 11:45, everyone will be ready to play on Saturday. I'm not sure if everyone will play, but everyone will be ready to play.
Shawn, the amount of returners that you have at the skill positions is pretty well documented. Offensive line, not so experienced coming back. How do you feel like that group's progressed, and what do you need to see out of them in this first game?
I've been very impressed with the line thus far. Again, we're replacing several starters that were here last year, a lot of new faces, but we were fortunate to get some players in the spring, offensive linemen. Look at Schrader, who came in from Florida State. He's really been a pleasant surprise. We've had Garner Langlow and the Hollyfield from Virginia Tech. So we've had a lot of good players. That group's probably made the biggest strides throughout fall camp. And that was evident in our last scrimmage. Again, we didn't do a lot of wasn't many schemes in that scrimmage, but again, I thought we moved the ball well. I thought there was not hardly any pre-snap penalties, which that's always your concern going to the first game. But overall, I think that group's been the most improved. Now, we got a lot of great players on our team right now, but that group has been most improved thus far.
Obviously, the move to FBS was the right one. It's been a fruitful one for App State, but ETSU is an old SoCon opponent. Is there anything that you miss about playing in the SoCon?
It's a great conference with great players, and I think it's evident when every year you look up, and I watched the game this Saturday that Montana State goes to Albuquerque and beats New Mexico State, and they're just great football players. That's been a great program. I know they did away with football for a few years, and they brought it back, which I'm happy to see. I think it's great for the East Tennessee region in there. But that was great games in the past. There's played in the Dome there. I still have a scar on my knee from the Dome back in the day. But again, just a lot of great players, a lot of great rivalries, and a rival, and just a lot of great memories. So we're excited to get them back on the schedule. I think it's great for both fan bases. They can travel an hour and 20 minutes from Johnson City to Boone, and again, our fans will be here loud and proud. It'll be a great college atmosphere.
David Katzenmeyer, Appalachian Weekly News, and WASU. There's a lot of buzz on campus right now. The first home game is one of the most favorite for the students. Outside of the 60 minutes that you spend on the field coaching, what's your favorite part about that first home game here in Boone?
Well, getting back into a routine. I think I'm a person that likes routine, to know what you're going to do on a weekly basis. But that's why you coach for these kind of situations, these kind of games. But for me, it's about giving the rewards back to the players. These kids put a lot of work in for it's year round. Back when I was in college here, we would leave for the summer or come back for a semester. These kids don't leave. They're in summer school all year long. And I tell all the time, you have 12 opportunities that are guaranteed to you. So we got to make sure we take full advantage and enjoy the moment. I don't think we've done that well in the past to enjoy wins, and we're going to do that. We're going to enjoy our wins and enjoy being in the moment, and it'll be week by week.
Hello, Nicholas Ragone, Appalachian Weekly News and App TV. You mentioned that both coordinators are coming back, but that's not all. I mean, you've got Joey Aguilar coming back, you've got Caden Robinson coming back, Nate Johnson coming back, so star players on both sides of the ball. How do you feel that continuity gives you an advantage going into the season?
It definitely does help to have that kind of continuity because we're familiar with one another. I mean, you look at it across the country, we're probably one of the fewest schools that have the least amount transferring out. So it makes you feel better. Anytime you have a returning quarterback coming back, you can sleep well at night. And I think Joey's really improved in a lot of different aspects of his life, not just football-wise, but just the way he's become a great leader. And to me, is how people gravitate toward him now. He's one of the first ones in the building. He's one of the last ones to leave. He does a great job in the locker room getting around young players to explain what it was like his first time around. So, again, you're exactly right. Whenever you're a returning quarterback, you feel better. But he also has weapons around him with Caden Robinson, Christian Horn, Mekhi Jackson on defense. You look at Nate Johnson and TD and Thomas Davis, Mike Fletcher, Sean Collins, Ethan Johnson's back. So, again, a lot of returning players. Well, a lot of new faces that played some last year, but not a lot of snaps. But they've been in the system long enough that they were able to get on the ground and start early and had a great fall camp.
And you mentioned that, obviously, Joey Aguilar has taken a lot of steps as a leader. Do you think that the team has rallied around the fact that he's been the defining starter all of camp as opposed to last year where there was a bit of a quarterback competition?
Yeah, that's fair to say. I mean, just tell you who your starting quarterback is. And, again, he's our starter, but Billy Wiles came in from Southern Miss. And I've been very impressed with Billy of how he's ran the offense. And there's been several times throughout fall camp that we put him in there with the one offensive line, and it was good to see. I mean, he's a seasoned quarterback that played a lot at Southern Miss, and so he knows our system now. So, again, I feel good with Joey there, but I also feel good with Billy Wiles. So I think we did ourselves a favor of bringing him in as soon as we could, and, again, we're excited he's part of it.
Jordan Luker, WASU and Appalachian Weekly News. With the newly installed bleachers, Kid Brewer can now pack over 40,000 fans. I wanted your thoughts on not only just the rapid growth of the stadium, but how that reflects the rapid growth of App State football as a program.
I think it speaks to the rapid growth for our university in general. And Chancellor Norris, she's been outstanding throughout this whole process. Doug Gillen's been outstanding to helping us to get to one of the best college atmospheres in all college football. And it was on ESPN, like we're the top 25 college stadiums in all of college football. And you look at the branding part we have at our university. We're one of 16 schools that was on the new college football game they have, whether it's AE Sports, EA Sports, whatever it may be. But as it speaks of what we have as a university, our program, and our town. I mean, our town has been fantastic through this transition of from the FCS to FBS football. And again, we're proud. We have a proud university, we have a proud athletic program, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Jake Casey with App Weekly News. So as you're observing these fall practices, has there been any players of yours that have really stood out to you that might not be on the fans' radar yet?
Yes, Kevin Abrams for Wayne. He's one player that I'm so happy for. Just because we have a saying here that if you don't cheat the game won't cheat you. And just watch him, how he's redefined his body and shaped his body and his work ethic. And he's a college graduate coming back for a 5th year. That's one name that stood out in front for me. Caden Solomon's had a great fall camp. Kyle Arnhold has. Our running backs, we all know we have 4 running backs to play in the country. But again, it's just, those are just name a few. But again, I like our team. Our team has really came together well. And again, we're anxious, excited, whatever you want to call it, for Saturday at 3:30.
David Jackson, Parkway Elementary School Sports. Coach, what are you most excited to see live?
I want to see how we handle different situations. Throughout fall camp, throughout spring, we always do situational football. I think if you look at the game, the way it's changed, it's all situational football. We always start in the red zone. That's the most important when you start fall camp and through spring practice, start in the red zone, because that's where games are won and lost. That's a 4-point swing from a field goal to a touchdown, and it's good for both sides of the game. The new clock, the 2-minute timeout, that's changed how we go about the analytics of football. And you try to simulate that during practice hard. With our first scrimmage here, we had Sunbelt officials in the game, and we really worked on 2 minutes. We had 3 2-minute situations because when do you call your timeout? Do you let it go to the 2-minute warning and keep your third time, keep all 3, or do you call one? So it's just different situational football. I think has really changed the game. The 2-minute warning has changed. So just to really see how we adapt and handle tough situations. And this is going to be a tough game with ETSU, and there's going to be some times that come up that we have to be playing our very best.
You mentioned tech, throw in the tablets as well and being able to review on the sideline. I fashion you to be a little bit more of an old school guy. How do you like technology being inserted into your ability to evaluate real time?
I'm not used to it yet, but now you have the earpiece and the quarterback in the helmet. Now you have the tablets like you mentioned, and we've had to practice that. And that's hard to simulate during a football practice, but we have done it twice throughout fall camp. I think the earpiece has been great. We'll probably huddle more than we have in the past, but now we have to play with crowd noise. Is it going to be different here when we play in the Rock compared to we go to an away game? So we adjusted the volume on the helmet to half, so during the game we'll turn all the way up. So just things you have to think about. The tablets are going to be nice because you can see it in real time. You're not asking someone in the box what they saw, so you can go back to the sideline and look at it and get your answers. So I think if the first 3 or 4 games, we'll probably work our way through it. But if it all goes back and all fails, we play a lot of football around here, just going by signaling and going fast. So again, we have a great plan for it. Our coordinators have worked on it, so it is what it is.
Last one for me. You mentioned O-line play and there not being a tremendous amount of veterans there. Does it help to have seasoned, skilled players, especially maybe at the running back position where you've got guys that have had a decent snap count here that are running behind those guys that are figuring it out up front? Yes,
and you look around our whole offense. Eli Wilson's been a 3-year starter. Markel, I didn't mention his name earlier. Markel Samuels is the kid that I'm excited about because he in spring practice he really flipped his switch and really changed his mentality how he plays football. He is like a big time football player right now. I'm excited to watch him play on Saturday. But Dave, it's just one of the situations you get ready to play on Saturday and see what happens. But our kids are prepared for it. They're excited for it. We can't get too high before the game. Yes, we came out and practiced yesterday. It was a very emotional practice. Kids were flying around, and you look at we GPS every one of our players. Our numbers were up faster than they were throughout fall camp, which is probably what you'll see after a day off. But again, we're excited for Saturday.
Matt President, Appalachian Sports Network. Coach, at the nose, Joshua Donald listed it at 320 pounds. How does his size, in addition to his skill, impact what you guys were able to do up front defensively?
Well, he's been a great addition to our program with him and Marcus Clark, and then the list goes on. So I think we have 3 or 4 nose guards that can be an immediate impact. But again, he's a 320 pounds, a large human. And to be able to move him off the ball, it creates helps keep the center on his block, so he's not getting off the linebackers, and he can really control two gaps. So he's had a great fall camp, and again, the time will tell. I mean, practice is practice, but when the lights come on, as we go back to being trained or untrained, and we talk to our players all the time, you have to be trained. If you train all the right things, you'll play that well on Saturday.